It's the Wiltfong Whip Around with Steve Wiltfong. Today is July 3rd. We are live from Nashville, Tennessee, and it is commitment season. You know that if you're already subscribed to the On3 Recruits channel. Yesterday, we had Justin Hill make his big announcement. We have Jadon Blair coming on Friday, Damien Shanklin coming on Friday. We're going to preview it all, but first, make sure you guys are subscribed to the On3 Recruits channel. Whether it's the 5-Star Flex, the Inside Scoop, or the Wiltfong Whip Around, nobody covers recruiting on YouTube better than the On3 Recruits channel. We got you covered, so smash that subscribe button for me. All right, let's bring in Steve Wiltfong, and let's start with one of the commitments that's going to go down on this channel in just a couple days, or just in tomorrow. It'll happen tomorrow. Jadon Blair out of North Carolina, one of the top uncommitted defensive backs in America, is going to be making his decision. Steve, what's the latest intel on Blair?
I like the Irish. This is one of Notre Dame's top overall targets, regardless of position. And they've recruited as such the entire process, from Marcus Freeman to Coach Mickens to Coach Al Golden to Chad Bowden. He has felt the full court press his entire cycle. He's been on campus a ton. The players are like-minded. The school, when Jadon Blair is going to make his college decision, 3 things were important to him: a place where he could develop into the player he wants to be, playing on the biggest stage in college football in the biggest games. That's 1. 2, the academics. Notre Dame checks that box with the global resources that they have with that degree in their alumni. And then 3, pageantry. They want to play at a place where college football is special, where the band impacts the game day atmosphere, the Golden Dome, the Touchdown Jesus, all those things I think were things that are exciting to Jadon Blair. And so he also strongly has considered Michigan, strongly considering Penn State, Florida State, South Carolina, among others. I like the way this is setting up for Notre Dame.
All right. Now, we got another commitment coming right after Jadon Blair on this channel. An hour and a half later, Steve, this is right in your wheelhouse. The number 1 player in your home state, Damien Shanklin, the edge prospect, is going to be making his decision. And if you look at the recruiting prediction machine, it shows LSU with a significant lead, but I don't think that tells the whole story. Steve, what's the latest intel on Shanklin as we're about 24 hours out?
Well, I still like where LSU is positioned for Damien Shanklin. They're in his final 3 with Alabama and Ohio State, but the 2 visits to Baton Rouge this calendar year blew him away. The first time down there for the spring game, spending time with the recruits like Bryce Underwood, he really fit in with those guys. And then getting a chance to really get to know Bo Davis, what he's about as a position coach, some of the guys that he's coached, that's really exciting for him from a player development standpoint. So I think LSU is the program that has the edge going into his announcement. But visits to Alabama and Ohio State were certainly needle movers too.
All right, let's whip it around to the state of Texas, where Riley Pettijohn, the number 2 ranked linebacker in America, number 33 overall, so just 1 spot out of a 5-star, but he's a 4-star linebacker for now. He's going to make his decision this Saturday. What do we think he's going to do?
Well, the On3 RPM is on Texas right now. I do not think it's going to be the Longhorns. So, Ohio State and USC were the 2 programs that, when that story broke, looked like they were in the best position. But Texas A&M, led by defensive coordinator Jay Bateman, continue to battle there. Riley told me that's his best relationship, the coach that he's known the longest of all his finalists pushing for him. USC, there's a couple visits there this calendar year were made that place real alluring for Pettijohn. But talking to some sources on Wednesday, I feel like there might be some momentum around Ohio State. He knows where he's going to go. So these conversations that he's having here late, can it change his mind or not? That's kind of where he's at with his process as he works up to his Saturday decision. If you're asking me today on Wednesday, who do I think it's going to be? I'm not sleeping on USC or the Aggies, but I might give the inch or 2 to the Buckeyes right now.
So you really think, even though Texas leads and has led on the recruiting prediction machine, you feel very doubtful that he's going to be a Longhorn Saturday?
I'm taking the field over the Longhorns right now.
Okay, there you have it. All right, let's stay in the state of Texas. More on some top prospects, Michael Fasusi and Lamont Rogers. Fasusi's a 5-star offensive tackle. Lamont Rogers a 4-star, both from the Longhorn State. What are you hearing there?
So with Michael Fasusi, I think that's going to come down to Texas and Oklahoma. And if I
Hmm.
was handicapping it right now, I'd probably give the advantage to the Longhorns. And with Lamont Rogers, I have an RPM on Missouri right now, but I think that could change by the weekend as well. Oklahoma and Texas A&M are two programs that are in fantastic
Hmm.
shape coming down the stretch. And I wouldn't be surprised if it's the Sooners inching ahead right now, with Texas A&M working to change that momentum behind the scenes as we speak right now.
Speaking of surprises, we got a big surprise from DJ Pickett today. You dropped the news that he's going to make a decision. Now, we thought it was going to be sometime in October tentatively, but he says he's going to be ready to make his decision on July 17th. So, Steve, all of a sudden, we're 2 weeks away from five-star corner DJ Pickett making his decision. What do you think is going to happen here?
Well, let me ask you a question first, Josh. Do you think 2 weeks is a lot of time, or is that announcement close?
In the dead period, 2 weeks is like 2 months.
Right. So today, I like Oregon, but there is a lot of time for Mario Cristobal and the Hurricanes to make a move. Those are the two teams I'm watching the closest. I think that official visit to Oregon the weekend of June 21st continued to remind DJ why he loves Oregon so much. And
Yeah.
his dad, when I talked to him about the visit, he was like, it's a haul to get out to Oregon, but when you get there, you forget how long it took to get out there. And they love Dan Lanning, the defense, the staff, Coach Lupoy and company, where the program's at right now. Oregon's checking all the boxes for DJ Pickett. But Miami, that's a program that's got a special place in the heart of that family. They're Hurricanes fans. Family has played for Miami. Family currently playing for Miami. 2 weeks to go. Miami now knows when the deadline is, at least in the recruiting race of a verbal commitment. And so I like Oregon. I think Miami's their biggest challenger. LSU and Georgia continue to have dialogue as well, but Ducks and Hurricanes are the two I'm watching closest.
What about that relationship with Corey Raymond? Is that not weighing heavily with LSU?
Well, I think he really likes LSU and believes it's a place that he could be successful. And in the Call Your Shot articles in the past, we've had LSU. So we felt like LSU's been the front runner in this recruitment before, but the intel says otherwise right now. So I know LSU, they're pointing towards all the great players that Corey Raymond has coached, one of them most recently being Derek Stingley. But I think, unless things change, and we know
Yeah.
they do in recruiting, if you follow closely, if you're watching this show, you're recruiting it. But I think Oregon has the inch or two over Miami right now with 2 long weeks to go.
2 long weeks to go in the dead period. All right. New recruiting prediction machine picks from Steve Wiltfong, also known as Fong Bombs. You got a big one in for Oregon, another five-star. This time it's Trey McNutt.
Yeah, we've been talking about it for a while, Josh. I think at
Mm-hmm.
least around a month, you and I on the Inside Scoop and on past whip-arounds have indicated that Oregon's the one to beat for Trey McNutt. Similar to DJ Pickett anticipating a commitment during the fall, DJ Pickett's moved up his date. Perhaps Trey McNutt will move up his date as well. I mean, he's been able to make rounds to a lot of his top schools this spring and summer. Oregon got him back to campus in June. They've been setting the pace in this recruitment, and I continue to like where they stand. I think he loves the defense. Again, loves where the program's at, and they're clearly the one out in front right now based on everything I'm hearing.
All right. Now you also have Texas getting Nick Towson.
Yeah, an explosive tight end. There's not many tight ends that run like this young man in this class, a guy that's been highly coveted by places like Alabama, USC, and Texas A&M. But talking to sources with knowledge of this recruitment, it looks like the Texas Longhorns are the ones that have pulled ahead for this exciting playmaker.
And then it looks like you have Coach Prime landing one of his top wide receiver targets.
Yeah, I had a chance to talk to Quanell Farrakhan X Jr., a four-star receiver out of the Houston area, following his official visit to Colorado, then spoke with his dad Wednesday morning about the experience with the Buffaloes. And I get the sense that Colorado is the leader going into his July 13th announcement, getting a chance to be around Coach Prime. He talked about the potential player development under that coaching staff. It's exciting to him. Just had a great time in Boulder, also visited UCLA, but it's Colorado with the leg up in the recruitment right now for Quanell Farrakhan X Jr.
All right, let's do a bonus recruiting prediction machine pick. Not your pick, but Oregon did get a pick this week from Justin Wells of our Texas site for Jonah Williams to Oregon. What are you hearing on this recruitment?
Well, he told me he had a really good visit to Oregon and is looking forward to getting back. So even though that was his official visit, he has returned to Eugene on his mind. Now, I still think Texas A&M is one of the front runners in that recruitment. LSU and USC, a couple of the other contenders, Texas trying to battle there as well. Oregon, certainly Justin Wells got a chance to be around Jonah. That's the way he feels and sees it. And certainly talking to some sources that spent time with him in Eugene, I don't think they disagree at all. I just think that Texas A&M is also right there and going to continue to push heavily for the coveted in-state safety.
Yeah, and Jonah isn't going to make a decision probably until the fall, so we know anything can happen between now and then, but we'll see. I mean, Oregon's staying hot on the trail. Speaking of hot on the trail, let's talk some Alabama recruiting, because on Wednesday, Justin Hill made an emotional decision right here on the On3 Recruits channel, choosing Alabama over Ohio State, USC, and Oregon. Bama now has 9 commitments since June 1st. 7 of those 9 are inside the top 100. So Bama, they're hot right now. And guess what? They're not done. Steve, who else should Bama fans keep an eye on this summer?
Well, 3 elite guys that I'm keeping a close eye for Alabama right now. You have 5-star offensive tackle Ty Haywood. Alabama is clearly the favorite for the Lone Star State road grader. Then you have the top 2 prospects in Mississippi, 5-star receiver Caleb Cunningham and the nation's number 2 running back, A.K. Deere. A.K. Deere recently decommitted from Ole Miss. That was after an official visit to Alabama. I think all 3 of those guys will ultimately end up in the Crimson Tide class. Then you got 2 more receivers on top of that Alabama's at the top or near the top 4, and Derek Meadows and Kalik Lockett. Derek Meadows is the number 7 receiver in the country, number 1 player in Nevada, and Kalik Lockett is a On3 industry 5-star. I think they're battling Notre Dame for Meadows, and they're battling Texas for Lockett as it stands now. So those are 5 blue chip names for Alabama as they push for the number 1 class in the land.
Bama fans, talk to us. Let us know. Comment section below. Is Alabama going to finish with the number 1 class in America? Sure feels like they got a good shot at it. Let us know. Comment section below. All right, Steve, let's talk a little Miami recruiting. And when we talk about teams in the top 20, we can look at it 3 ways. Teams that are red hot, teams that are getting hot, and teams that need to get hot. I put Miami in the middle there. Teams that are getting hot. And today, on July 4th, Hilton Stubbs set to make his decision. He's only been decommitted from USC for 6 days at this point, but he is ready to decide. It sounds like it could go the Canes' direction.
Yeah, I love the way it's going for Miami. He's taken a couple visits there since committing to USC. Then obviously he decommitted following his official visit to Miami. I just think Coach Cristobal, just being around that program and that atmosphere has them in the lead right now. Now he'll commit to potentially Miami on the 4th of July. That's the way I see it. But I see the Florida Gators. They're lying in the weeds for a lot of top targets, and we've said this before, Josh. If the Florida Gators are the ones that have a big year this year, they brought in a lot of players that had Florida 3rd or 4th on their list. Do they make a move with a great season? Time will tell. Hilton Stubbs is one that they'll try to. Ty Jackson, some of the others. But love where Miami stands for Hilton Stubbs as they try and push into the top 10. They're one of the hottest teams in the country right now.
Yeah. Coming off of a huge commitment from 2026 quarterback Darion Coleman, who made his decision on July 3rd. What do you like about the Darion Coleman pickup for the Canes?
Well, he's a winner. He's a highly confident in-state quarterback that has a quick release. He's an accurate passer, and he's a gamer. Threw for over 2,600 yards, leading Orlando Jones to the semifinals of the state playoffs this past year. Highly confident kid. He's a guy that behind the scenes, a lot of college coaches have said this kid's a baller, but some people didn't love the size, the stature. He's about 5'11", 160 pounds. But the one thing you love is when the ball is snapped and he's in between the chalk, he's making a lot of plays. He's a guy that can extend plays, elude pressure. He's accurate with the football, and the ball's out quick. He's been playing varsity football since the 8th grade. And again, I just like his leadership qualities and think this is a really strong pickup for the Hurricanes.
Yeah, he can get the ball vertical in a hurry. They like to throw it down in Miami. All right. Latest on S.J. Alo-Faituli. He's going to make his decision here soon. It seems like the interior offensive lineman is trending to the Canes.
Yeah, I think so. I think Miami's the one to beat. He took his last official visit to Miami the weekend of June 21st. This is a guy that Michigan and Sharon Moore and those guys highly coveted. Nebraska, they round out the top three. But Mario Cristobal, Coach Mirabal, the dedication to the offensive line, the emphasis there, the relationships, the trajectory of Miami's program. I think he loves everything about it. And I love where Miami stands going into his Friday announcement.
All right. And then we talked about it. DJ Pickett going to make that decision here in about 2 weeks. Even if it doesn't go the Canes' way, are you ready to count out Miami and UF, put Miami and UF in the conversation for DJ Pickett?
Absolutely not. If DJ Pickett were to pick Oregon or LSU or Georgia, the Hurricanes particularly, and then potentially the Gators still would lurk with a good fall.
Well, it's going to be a really exciting couple weeks with recruiting. Steve, take us out of here.
Yeah, I just hope that everybody has a great 4th of July. Please hit like and subscribe to the On3 Recruits page so you are up to date on the latest and greatest recruiting coverage out there, from the Wiltfong whip around to the 5-star flex to the inside scoop. Happy Independence Day, everybody. We'll see you next week.